music, dancing, and they are watching these paintings together. So these paintings are part of a religious festival. In other words, these paintings are not about art. It's really about religion. It's expressing the religious beliefs of the people at that time. Okay? So again, no one knows what their beliefs are because they wrote nothing down. They are pre-literate. We can't go back in time and talk to them. So we have to use our imagination. So let's imagine that we go back in time to this time. It's very cold and our memories have been wiped out, meaning like we've lost the knowledge of today. We've lost science, we've lost what we learned. So my first question is, we're in this world and what are things that amaze us or make us wonder or make us in awe? What are things that capture our imagination? Meaning like we see these things and we're like, oh my God, God must exist because there's no way I can explain what happened. You're in this world, right? Use your imagination. What's one thing that's like, oh, okay, there must be a God, or there must be some supernatural powers that govern our world. What's the first thing that comes to mind? How about childbirth? Because I'm a father, I have 3 kids. I can tell you, when I first saw my child being born, I was amazed. Because you have this life come out of nothing, okay? And if you never study biology, you can't explain what happened. So that's the first thing that amazes us about being human, childbirth. What's the second thing that would amaze you if you were back here? How about the stars? Late at night, and remember, there's no pollution. So you see out into the darkness and it's all stars glowing. That's pretty amazing. So what do you think these stars are? You're staring out into outer space, right? And you see these stars glowing brightly in the sky. What are they? What's your own explanation, really? Possibly souls or other worlds, okay? Planets, worlds. In other words, the first thing that you recognize is that our world is just one of many worlds out there. What else amazes you about the world? Now, these are things that surprise us and they force us to ask the question, why? So now let's try to construct a theory of how to connect all these things. So we know that the stars, there's other powers out there, right? There has to be gods or the soul of really great people or other planets or other worlds. How does childbirth happen then? What is the womb? It comes from the womb, right? What the womb is a portal that the soul comes from another world into our world. Then how do people return to the other world? If the womb is a portal that allows souls to come into our world, how do these souls return to their world again? The soul comes into our world from the mother's womb, from darkness, and then for us to return the soul back into the original world, we bury this person in darkness, and that carries that person back to the original world. So this is probably the simplest explanation for how life and death works. There are these portals. And what in nature most resembles a womb? What in nature most resembles a womb? A mother's womb, a cave. So we can think we humans come from a mother's womb, which is a cave, a tunnel. But animals also come from a womb, which is the cave. So the cave is a portal into another world. So why are we in the cave celebrating animals? Why are we doing that? Why are we in the cave celebrating animals? What are we really doing? When we kill them, we think they go back into the spirit world. So now we have to summon them back from the spirit world into our world. In other words, what this belief is really saying is that we are all interconnected. And for every action that we make, we have to do something else to compensate for action. So if we kill an animal to eat the meat, then we need to ask forgiveness and then bring this animal back into the spirit world to maintain balance and harmony in nature. So why is it in this world there's balance and harmony? Why do we think there's balance and harmony? Because what gives life to everything? What's the force that gives life to everything? The mother goddess, right? Mother nature. So if we think that there's one force, the mother goddess, that gives life to everything, that means that for us, trees, animals, us, are all equal. We're all the children of Mother Nature. We all have souls. So what gives us permission to kill other animals? Other animals are our brothers and sisters, right? So what gives us permission to kill the other animals? Because Mother Nature, Mother Goddess has a plan. Each thing on this planet has a function. The function is to maintain balance and harmony. If we do not kill the other animals, we will die. Okay? But also, if we don't kill the other animals, there'll be too many of them. So in other words, the world is a cycle. It's a circle. And each person, each animal has a part to play in this. And as long as we play our part, then the world will be harmonious and balanced and perfect. So we have actually a word for this religion. And this word is animism. And what animism is, it's probably the first religion, okay? And it's a belief that each living thing, whether it's a tree, a mosquito, a person, or anything that's living, has a soul, okay? And we're all interconnected because we all have souls. And so we must maintain balance and harmony. And many of the primitive religions, okay, if you go to talk to native people in North America and South America and Australia, they all have this belief. But also there are many religions such as Buddhism, which also has this belief. Okay, and we believe that this is the first religion. Okay, so let's go over some evidence that this is in fact what they believe. A recent discovery that we made is that trees talk to each other. Do you guys know this? So what happens is that there are maybe thousands of trees in a forest, and their roots are connected through mushrooms, for fungi. And this allows them to share information. So for example, what we know is that if one tree in one part of the forest lacks nutrients like water, the other trees will send nutrients to that tree, okay? So it's almost like the forest is one big brain or one big living organism, and they're all trying to communicate with each other. Another thing that we've discovered is that if there are pests or insects that attack one tree, okay? This tree will automatically communicate to the other trees, and these trees will start to prepare for the pest or the attack, okay? And the third thing, which is the most interesting, is that trees will recognize their own children. So if these children trees need nutrients, the mother trees will send the nutrients to the children right away. This is something that we've recently discovered, but if you think about it, if you're living back then, you can sense almost how trees communicate because you're always in touch with nature. This is a cave painting. You can see that these animals, gazelles, they're going somewhere, and there are two beings here, okay? We believe that these two beings represent the mother goddess because as we discussed last class, the mother goddess comes in the form of a bird, right? The bird flies around the sky is the mother goddess. Okay, so it's almost like the mother goddess is channeling or herding the animals from the spirit world back into her own world. What you also notice is that these birds are almost like humans, okay? And so what we think is that the shamans dress up like birds in order to channel the energy of the mother goddess to control the animals, okay? And there's actually a lot of evidence for this. So this is clearly an animal, but this is also a person who's an animal, who's a human being, right? Because of the figure. So these are human beings, shamans, who dress up like animals in order to better communicate with animals, but also to better communicate with the spirit world, okay? And this is actually a more clearer picture of shamans trying to access the spirit world. From this religion, we can guess that the people back then were extremely compassionate. They believed that everything has a soul and every life is precious.